everybody. We're back for another edition of Meteorology Lab. A little bit late. Sorry about that. There's a lot that goes into this last 30 minutes getting set up for the webcast, and overshot it here by a couple minutes. But kind of a fair evening here in Texas. And we've got the camera up too, so we're trying to use some of this technology as we get a chance to do that. Okay, let's take a look at the weather charts. And before I go too far into that, I can see in text, Ryan said he sent a picture, so let me do something real quick here. Let me just put this up real quickly because I need to pull up my email, and we'll show Ryan's picture there. Things have been kind of a big rush this evening, so let's see here. Do I have Ryan's picture? Let's see. Nope, I don't see it, or I don't know. I'm going to have to look for this some other time. Sorry, things have been kind of crazy, but let's see. Let's dive right in and check out the weather here. Starting out with Texas. We've got southerly flow from the Gulf, and let me bring up my zoom it tool. Okay, there we go. There's a southerly wind coming up. And if we do isodrosotherms, the 50 line is going to run something like that right there. So not a whole lot of moisture in place. But we do see a very active dry line. Check this out in New Mexico. Just west of this boundary, we've got very strong westerly winds and dew points in the teens and 20s in this area. And you can see temperatures 87 at Roswell and 90 at Carlsbad. And that's due to downslope coming off the forgot the name of the mountain range right there. But anyway, that's the picture right there, just kind of a very dry line. And we've got a little bit of cyclogenesis up in Colorado. Let's move the map here. We can see a Canadian front coming out in from the north. I'm trying to bring up my John Madden drawing stuff. It's not working for some reason. Let's see here. There it goes. Not very dependable there, but there it is. There's the cold front coming in through Colby, central Nebraska right there, and kind of banking up against the mountains right there. So that dry line kind of intersects that also. So we got a bit of a triple point right here. But as you can see, dew points in the 30s and 40s, that's not going to support thunderstorms. If we had a little bit more moisture, that would be a great pattern there. Then going further off to the west, let's check that out. Okay, there's the warm southwesterly flow. You're probably familiar with that. What is wrong with my drawing tool? I can't bring that up. Anyway, check out the cursor here. Southwest winds right here, Arizona through Colorado. And then north of that, you can see northwesterly flow. So that's probably Pacific air coming in. Cold front from Utah down to Southern California. Okay, then to our chart sequence here. Bit of bad news. I just found this out. Bad meteorological news, but this DIFAX upper level chart thing, this series, it appears to have died finally after about 40 years in production. In fact, let me look at the date. 67. yeah, these were in production for about 44 or 45 years. And that's a shame because this is a great upper area analysis. This is from INSEP, formerly NMC. And I love this because it uses all the radio sound stations and a little bit of the fields out in the oceanic areas. It's hard to analyze out in those areas. And I think the model, I think this uses a bit of the model fields to kind of fill this in, but not too much of the model data. So that's a shame we've lost this product. I'm going to try to build this same functionality into Digital Atmosphere. I'm working on that right now. Fortunately, we have the Canadian data, so we're definitely going to be relying on this. 250 millibar analysis up at 34,000 feet. Polar front jet coming onto the Northern California coast like that, into the Four Corners area, and then up into Minnesota and the Great Lakes. And you can see a little bit of a negative tilt trough through the Rockies. Do we have the subtropical jet? Yep, we sure do. There's the characteristic anticyclonic pattern for that 55-knot flow, and synced up with that polar front jet like that. So in between, a little bit of very strong flow, 85 knots right there at Dodge City. Okay, we're going to drop down to 500 millibars. And we see a little bit of a trough on the California coast right there. Ridge in the Great Plains. It looks like another trough right here. So you can see as we get down to 500 and 700 millibars, we pick up the small scale features, and in between where we have this flat contour right here, got a ridge right in there. So some features working their way through the pattern right there. And over Georgia, cutoff low, been wandering around there for the past few days. 700 millibar flow, good for capping. We got 10 Celsius lines over West Texas. So that'll keep a little bit of capping in that area. Problem is we don't have much moisture, of course. We saw that on the surface chart. So anyway, 850 millibar chart. Unfortunately, doesn't cover Texas too well, but we can see 20-knot flow down in Fort Worth. A little bit of a weak low-level jet, and it really picks up through Omaha right there. And we can see a little bit more of the frontal features here at 850. Remember, this is up at 5,000 feet. So we got a warm front from Lake Superior to North Dakota like that. And then on the other side, looks like we pick up our Pacific front. Sort of like that right there. And this is going to intersect the terrain in some areas. Well, Korea has been in the news quite a bit. I don't really know what is about to take place, but seems like something may be going on. So we'll try to cover a little bit of the weather there. This is a visible image here. So the first thing when we jump into weather like this in another part of the world, we got to think about what time of the year it is. Well, it's April, so we're starting to see the polar front jets coming out of China a little bit less frequently, and we're starting to get more of the influence of the warm West Pacific tropical air coming northward and warming things up. And it looks like that's really taken place here in southern China. This looks like a lot of overrunning maybe, so maybe a bit of a warm front through this area here. And we can see a little bit of anticyclonic flow like that, indicating maybe a trough out to the west. And here's the thickness chart for Korea. We can see a pretty large cold pool over Manchuria right there. A lot of thickness gradient over Korea and Japan. So it looks like we do have a front well to the south down in this area right here, and probably overrunning right there in China with the 850 millibar flow coming like that. So we got low pressure in Manchuria. Basically, this is telling us cold air coming southward, so probably another couple days of cool weather there. Okay, so that's a look at China right there. We'll go back to the U.S. There's a southerly flow in Texas. And let's check out the infrared imagery. Looks like a lot of moisture and lift on the way, working across the Rockies right there, coming from the Great Basin region. And let me put it on the last frame right there. And let me check out the chat right here. Okay. Going up to the top, I see from Sue M. First one here, evening from sunny southern Indiana. Andrew checking in, and Mark here, Justin Polium. Mentioning probably a lesson on digital atmosphere. Maybe I'll show you a little bit of that too. Fun with Tech is here. And Justin Polium mentions that picture. I'm going to have to dig around in my email to try to find that. Mike Wan, Lexi, Victor. Let me go through this very quickly. Ahmed in Saudi Arabia. It's always good to have viewers on the other side of the world. And Alexi says, hit those likes. Yeah, I appreciate that. Adam Davis and Ron Chalfont in Southern California. Fred up in North Dakota, 35 degrees and snow. Wow, 4 to 7 inches of snow on the Canadian border. It's hard to believe, just 6 or 7 weeks and we're going to be in the thick of summer. Charles Peak is here. And let's see here. A little bit of chat about Dropbox. Ancient Astronaut made it in, and Brian Harp. And let's see here. Brett Dean, screw Korea. Nothing mushroom clouds. Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. And Santa Ana winds in Santa Barbara. Okay, we're going to have to take a look at that. John Huntington, watching live for the first time, and Dr. Wells, concerned about Friday in Texas and Oklahoma. And yeah, I am too, and we're going to check that out a little bit later when we get into the GFS model sequence. Okay, water vapor imagery. This uses a different infrared channel, and it's sensitive to the moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So basically this is telling us right in this area we actually have an absence of moisture, allowing a lot of radiation to make it up to the satellite. So let's check that out. So we're going to be looking at Jacksonville. See right there? Let's look at the soundings for that area. Okay, there's Jackson this morning. And you can see above 14,000 feet, a lot of dry air, dew points, minus 50 Celsius. So that's going to be about minus 60 Fahrenheit. Imagine that for dew points behind the dry line. That would be pretty crazy. So very dry air aloft there. But a lot of tropical air down in the low levels. You can see dew points there in the lower 60s and in the 50s up at 4,000 feet. So plenty of moisture in the low levels. But as you can see, the water vapor imagery doesn't care about that. it's detecting mostly mid and upper level moisture there. So keep that in mind. We'll check out one more sounding, maybe Tallahassee, and maybe we'll do one more after that. There's more dry air right there in Tallahassee. And let's check out DFW. Remember, we're in southerly flow here, trying to bring moisture northward, and not quite doing it right there. So dew points around 48 right there, 30s just off the surface, and tons of dry air above 3,000 feet. You can see a little bit of warm air right there. See up there, almost at 700 millibars. That's close to that capping that I was showing you coming out of New Mexico. So to get any storms, we're going to have to definitely cool this off. We're going to have to weaken this a bit and bring up the temperature and moisture way down here. Okay, dynamics. There's the current dynamic picture. The polar front jet looking like this. Looks like about 65 knots there at 500 millibars. This is 18,000 feet, and you can see a few waves making their way across the Central Plains there. So over the next few days, we're going to see the flow increasing and the troughing kind of digging southeastward like that. So Tuesday going into Wednesday, now we're breaking off a little bit of a closed low over New Mexico. So definitely some very strong troughing taking hold. Flow increasing over Texas, so chances of storms are going to be going up. And then the bulk of it makes it into Texas on Wednesday. Moves into the Mississippi River Valley for Thursday. It looks like another trough coming in from Utah right there. You see that? A little bit of a kink. And that digs on into the Texas Panhandle by Thursday evening. So depending on the air mass recovery, we could see another round of thunderstorms Thursday going into Friday. Okay, let's check out the GFS. Actually, no, let's look at the NAM. The GFS is best for the 3 to 7 day picture and beyond that. And then for the short term, we prefer using the NAM. So let's do that real quick. Okay, so the current picture. Looks like we're missing a couple frames in here, so I'm going to use the 21Z. So what do we see here? Well, we've got a few isobar lines like that. This is indicating that we've got low pressure up in this region, high pressure in Louisiana. And the stronger flow is where we have the isobars close together. So the flow is kind of like that. And you can see that we're tapping air from Mexico and not the Gulf. Hardly any flow coming onto the coast here. So this is a very dry flow. So probably another cool night tonight. We start tapping the Gulf a little bit on Tuesday, but that's going mostly into Arkansas. And there's the flow looking like that. Looks like now we're starting to tap the Gulf around Tuesday, so that's going to be the day when things pick up. So we start breaking out some shower activity Tuesday and Wednesday in Texas and Oklahoma, and then they start organizing a little bit as the upper air system makes it in. So this is Wednesday at about 1 p.m. And the front looking like that right there. You can see most of the moisture is mostly heading up into the southeast Oklahoma area. And the model's showing a lot of maybe isentropic lift and cold core convection in this area. So we're lacking some ingredients early this week. And then we get into Thursday. There goes the line of showers into Arkansas and Louisiana. And then going into Friday, cyclogenesis in the Texas Panhandle. We get the southerly flow off the Gulf. Now we're recharging things for another round of thunderstorms. So Thursday evening, sorry, looking like this. Looks like we got a warm front just like that. And a little bit of shower activity up there. I think the dry line is probably going to be looking something like perhaps like that. Moisture coming northward up I-35 and up into southwest Oklahoma there. Okay, let's check out the dew points. That's the other part of the picture here. Looks like the moisture is very eager to move northward. We can see 60s coming up into East Texas on Tuesday. And you can see that's mostly heading up east of I-35 up into this area here. So it looks like we do get a little bit of, looks like we do get a little bit of moisture making its way up into the Dallas-Fort Worth area on Wednesday morning. But the cold front pushes that eastward during the day. Then for Thursday, pretty quiet. And now you can see the moisture trying to make its way northward, but not very much of it. This is Friday, early morning hours, and we can see 50s dew points. That's not very good at all. So it's probably going to be maybe Saturday or Sunday before we recharge the moisture there. Okay, hang on a second. Let me grab a little bit of throat spray and take a bit of water. Okay, guys, I think we're ready. I think my voice is a little bit better. Let's check out the GFS. So this is the global model run by INSEP. Okay, we can see the fronts right there out in California and Utah. A little bit of a low pressure area there in western Kansas. And let's see what happens. Development of that low pressure area. There comes that front southward and probably a dry line kind of like that. This is going to be early Wednesday here. Then things push eastward on Thursday. A little bit of high pressure here, and here comes the next system coming in from the Rockies. And remember, we keep the fronts on the warm side of the gradient. So even though you see troughing here, you're going to want to put the warm front way down here in Texas. So that is the correct position right there. Best chance of thunderstorms here on Thursday. Looks like along the Red River. And that's just going by the GFS. Then for early Friday, next system coming through. Chance of thunderstorms there in Missouri and Kansas City. And looks like cyclogenesis in West Texas here. So here comes the moisture. This is Saturday. And now we're really breaking stuff out over Texas there. So look at that thermal gradient over Arizona and New Mexico. And we're bringing the 540 line all the way to the Four Corners area. It's kind of rare for this time of year. See all those snow showers in Colorado there. Wonder if some people might be able to get some skiing in. So there goes our system on Saturday. Looks like another severe weather day. Going into Sunday, things move out into the Mississippi River Valley. Very strong front. Wow, 540 line coming all the way down to Amarillo. And the reason the 540 line is important, we're talking about 5,400 meters for the distance between the 1,000 and 500 millibar surfaces. And that indicates the air is very cold. So, yeah, pretty cold day coming up here for early next week. There go the storms into the Mississippi River, Mississippi and Alabama area. So probably a chance of severe there on the first going into the second. And at this point, what we do is we watch the Gulf Coast here and watch for the redevelopment of the moisture feed. So right now, all I see is high pressure here. So the Gulf is cut off here on Tuesday the 2nd. And finally, going into the 3rd, the Gulf starts opening up a little bit. But fighting this really strong downslope here. Looks like a very warm day for Texas on the 3rd with that downslope. Then the next front comes in. 3rd going into the 4th. And then the Gulf opens up again for the 6th. And looks like another chance of severe weather around the 7th and 8th on the Great Plains. Another strong cold front coming southward, so looks like the pattern is going to get more active here in a few days. And we'll have more stuff to look at, and I plan to do some extended weathercasts and maybe run for a couple of hours and talk about radar and mesoscale analysis and do some of those digital atmosphere charts. Now this is kind of a sneak peek at the newer version of digital atmosphere. You can see it right here, Digital Atmosphere 2017. And I've got it in the compiler here. This is where I actually write the program. So there's some of the source code. This is the source code for processing METAR data. So you can see that right there. So this code right here just kind of converts the text METAR into data fields. You can see I've got extract cloud types here, extract 1 hour precip. So I'm working on this program. I'm trying to get it out very soon. I've had a lot of distractions and problems and stuff like that over the past year, but I'm finally getting that under control. So there's the new Digital Atmosphere program, and yeah, we can take a look at Korea right there real quick. There's the conditions in Korea about 1 hour ago. Remember, it's morning there, about 9 or 10 in the morning. So it looks like some cool weather in this area, northerly flow, and we know that over Manchuria, cold air mass there. So you can see temperatures are in the low 40s. But that's pretty mild, and we're definitely getting into summer, starting to get into summer here a little bit. Okay, let me take a look at chat real quick. Oh yeah, I wanted to point out North Korea. Check that out. Let me zoom in. Let me regenerate that the map just a little bit and zoom in. Did you notice that we get observations from North Korea? It's pretty incredible. They're actually a signatory for the World Meteorological Organization. So they report weather data, and even during the Cold War, we got observations from them. So that was kind of unusual. So it's actually kind of part of a data exchange. For them to actually receive data officially, they have to be transmitting data out. So that's kind of how that happens there. So they're connected in with Beijing, and their data goes out to the world like that. Okay, let me check out the chat here. Chat is very busy. I'm probably going to miss a lot of this. Oh yeah, the Santa Ana winds. Let's check out the Santa Ana winds. I'm going to regenerate this for California. In a digital atmosphere, you can go to location preset, and I'm going to bring up California. I'll zoom in on there. Okay, so now we got a window on California. Let's see what's going on. Let me bring up the current data. Okay, a little bit slow, but gradually coming in here. This is all the METAR observations. These are text reports coming in from all the stations out there. And Digital Atmosphere is processing that. And we're all done. So, yeah, we've got a bit of wind there in the San Joaquin Valley. Let me clear out some of this data so you can see it better. I'm going to remove the ceiling. And regenerate that. So now you can see the wind gust. You can see G20, G27. Those are the wind gusts in knots. So we've got some gusts in the Mojave Valley up to 44 there. I think that's Barstow. And I'm not sure I see Santa Ana winds. Normally with Santa Ana we have a... Where's my cursor? Escape key is not working for some reason. Probably going to have to do a restart. But anyway, what we like to see is a northeasterly flow with Santa Ana winds. And we have to have a very strong pressure gradient. And let me show you the pressure gradient. What I mean by that. I'm going to plot sea level pressure instead of altimeter setting. Okay, what we have to have is a pressure differential between Nevada and California. And there's some rules of thumb that some of the Los Angeles and San Francisco offices use. They'll take one station like Tonopah here, another station like LA, and they'll take the pressure difference. And if it exceeds a certain value, then that's favorable for Santa Ana winds. And what we see here is pressure 1006.4 in Tonopah, 1011.6 in LA. So we have actually high pressure along the coast here. So what we need for Santa Ana winds is high pressure in Nevada to kind of blow that air from northeast to southwest. So, but definitely windy, and this is post-frontal air affecting that area. Okay. I'll show you approximately where the front is. Okay, I would probably place it something like maybe something like that right there. And you can see the drawing tool capability here with digital atmosphere. So anyway, there's that. And let me check the rest of the chat here. Good crew in tonight. Yeah, I appreciate all the, it's good to see everybody every evening here. Dr. Wells says the only thing I know of that's holding back severe weather in North Texas is the cap on Friday. Yeah, the moisture is definitely trying to make it north on Friday, so we'll be watching for that, and I'm really looking forward to doing a severe weather live cast. We're going to have fun with that. And let's see, I can't read all that right now, but I appreciate all the chat. Can I rule back 24 hours for Santa Barbara? I guess, sorry, I don't understand. What do I think will happen for Friday? Looks like storms around the Dallas-Fort Worth area into East Texas, and those will move eastward likely, I think, around Friday evening as a squall line. So that's kind of what I'm expecting there. And I think by tomorrow the models should nail down those details a lot better. So we'll kind of wait until tomorrow to see what's going to happen then. Okay. That's about all I got for this evening. I appreciate you joining us, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.